they rush five, and they're really good, and they've got some secondary guys that can make plays. Some guys at corner, a rookie and a veteran, opposite sides that kind of stay on their sides, that take chances, that really just kind of ball hawk at their safeties. Don't switch sides a lot. They play boundary and field safeties.
Week 4 Steelers versus Packers. Hi, everybody. I'm Missi Matthews. Welcome to the matchup show presented by Unibet. Let me introduce you to our panelists today. Before we break down the game and get things started, Matt Williamson from Steelers Nation Radio. We're going to pick his brain about a lot of things. We also have former Steelers offensive lineman. You can hear him on DVE, Craig Wolfley. And Pompin' Ain't Easy from KDK, our good friend Bob Pompeani, to break everything down. So, guys, let's start with the quarterback matchup. Even Ben said, it's usually quarterback versus defense, but when it's Ben Roethlisberger versus Aaron Rodgers, we're going to start there. So, Matt, I'll start with you. Does each team, are they dependent on the quarterback to get the win on Sunday?
Without question, and that's the case no matter who the quarterbacks are. Of course, we know that. I mean, it's the most important position in all of sports, but Rodgers is the locomotive pulling that whole organization, to be very honest with you. I mean, they have two very good weapons in Davante Adams and the running back Aaron Jones, but the rest of their guys would have a hard time seeing the field for the Steelers. I mean, Rodgers elevates those around him. He attacks one-on-one matchups. He's a precise ball placement guy. He extends plays. He makes offensive line problems go away. I mean, he is the driving force.
Wolf, what do you think about this quarterback matchup?
I think it's exciting, man. I mean, come on. You got Aaron Rodgers, you got Ben Roethlisberger, first time at Lambeau, historic place. That opportunity to match your skill set against another legendary guy, two Hall of Famers in the future going at it. So I'm excited about it. You take a look at Aaron Rodgers. He is, just as Matt described him, the engine that pulls that whole train. Again, you've got a situation where you got Davante Adams, you got Aaron Rodgers. You got to add Aaron Jones, and you're talking about 50% of all the receptions are between those three guys. I mean, that's a lot in just a few people.
Pomp, both of these guys have not met since Super Bowl 45, 11 seasons ago. We know that Ben is one touchdown away from hitting 400. They're both in the top charts when you're looking at league history. What do you make of this quarterback matchup and what it means to each team on Sunday?
Well, Missy, I think it's a special matchup just because of what you stated, the history of these two guys, two Hall of Famers going at it. But, as far as this game is concerned, I think it comes down to whoever does the best job of protecting that quarterback. And specific to the Steelers, from what we've seen, Ben has been hit a lot. That has to change. However they do it, I'm sure we'll talk about strategies going into this one coming forward. But if Ben does get time, he still has the ability to go through the progressions and make plays. He does not have the same ability to extend plays that he once did, nor what Aaron Rodgers can do. So that's important for the Steelers to make sure that he doesn't get loose, and hopefully a return of TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith will help that situation.
All right, Matt, everybody this week at Steelers headquarters has said the offense needs to get off to a faster start. Ben said he is notorious for starting slow. All right, everyone wants to start faster. How do they do it?
Yeah, I wish I had a steadfast answer for you. I mean, the Jets are the only team that are scoring less points in the first half, and that's a really difficult situation to get into. The first thing that has to stop, no matter what, is the self-induced penalties and drops and self-induced errors. I mean, last week started out so different. They were climbing uphill from the start because of things they did to themselves. The other suggestion would maybe come out with a no huddle and play fast, play with tempo. I mean, we've seen Ben really excel in that in that strategy throughout his career.
All right, we have a few fan tweets to get to. We have one from Linda and one from Germany. Let's see which one we have here. From Linda, friend of the Steelers Live program. Can you explain why the Steelers seem to not want to throw the ball in the middle of the field? Pomp, I'll give this one to you.
That's a good question. From Germany, from Germantown, from wherever they're going to send it in. I mean, to me, that's a big part of what is missing here. They drafted Pat Freiermuth, Missy, to give them an option in the middles. Eric Ebron, although he drops a lot, he needs that part of the field would make things easier on everybody else. And I agree with Matt too. I would go to no huddle right from the start. I remember their start in Tennessee a few years ago, where they just started fast, a good drive right off the bat. you need to do something that's going to keep that other team a little off balance here, given the struggles they've had with this young offensive line. So middle of the field is big. I think if you do that and run the ball more effectively, and they got to do that too. You can't have 58 passes and 15 runs. That's not the kind of ratio you want.
All right, Wolf, we saved a fan question about the Steelers' run game for you. Let's pull it up here to read it for you. Will this be the breakthrough game for the run game? I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Go Steelers from Germany. Wolf, what do you think?
Was hoping that a question from Germany might include brats and sauerkraut or something like that. But, as it were, yes, I agree. Look, we got to get the running game going, and I think the running game is getting close. Najee is also part and parcel of the running game in the sense of even when some of the holes are not there, there's other holes elsewhere. And one of the things you'll see with Aaron Jones is a guy who is very effective at the cutback, able to, whether bounce it to the corner or cut back, he finds the hole. And Najee's going to do that. He's got great talent, but the offensive line has to contribute and move. If you take a look at the first play from scrimmage, it was basically a 22 power. That was just Najee straight ahead, inside gap zone blocking, and everybody goes up and just gets on some people, body on bodies. They ground for 4 yards. But just as Bob was pointing out, in the next couple of plays, they get lined up incorrectly. They get a holding call, and it keeps bringing things back. So they can't have self-inflicted wounds. Everybody has to know where they get that helmet on somebody. And one of the things I think will help, because it's a young line, and this is going to be important, you've got to know who the most dangerous man is. I understand about on a track, on the outside zone, on the inside zone, the split zone, with the gap blocking scheme, and oftentimes there's a guy you have in mind, he's lining up, and you think that's your guy. But when the X's and O's start to jump around and move around, the Jimmies and Joes start to really move, you've got to know who the most dangerous man is, and you've got to make sure you don't run by white jerseys or opposite colored jerseys just because that's not the X that you're supposed to pick up.
All right, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about the Steelers defense right after this break and TJ Watt, what he means to that unit. But first, I want to tell you about Unibet and the Week 4 opening lines across the league presented by Unibet Sportsbook. It's the official sportsbook partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you're in Pennsylvania and are ready to place your wagers on any of this weekend's matchups, you can download the Unibet PA app or visit pa.unibet.com. We'll be right back. You're watching the Matchup Show presented by Unibet.
Well, it always helps if you got 90 and 56, okay? We had some guys get some pressure, and we didn't get him on the ground. The guy scrambled a couple times, and we didn't get him on the ground when he had a chance to. We had a couple of chances of getting sacks that we didn't get, and that's what we need to do. We need to pressure the quarterback and make him feel uncertain.
Welcome back to the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. Of course, we will find out the status of TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith on Friday as they get ready for Week 4. Packers at Lambeau Field. Guys, we have to talk about what a difference. See what I did there? The Steelers defensive unit is like when TJ Watt is on the field, which was a game and 16 plays in the other one, and when he's not. And the numbers are not, I don't want to say jarring, but it is very evident that there is a reason why TJ Watt got paid right before the start of this regular season. So Matt, what do the Steelers need to do at this point? We don't know if TJ is going to play or not, if he's not able to go, to not have the same thing happen against the Bengals where there were no sacks, no quarterback hits.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all realize by now the foundation of this football team is the pass rush, and no one in the league has done it better over the last, handful of years. And frankly, I believe they have 6 real difference makers across their defensive front, and that includes Tyson Alualu, Tuitt. And in this past game, they only had 2 of those guys, in Ingram and Cam. And I thought too much was asked of those 2. Cam's playing tremendous, but is anyone more physically taxed on the defense than Cam? It's double team after double team, and the effort he puts in, and even Ingram's much better with fewer snaps. So Watt just has such a strong trickle-down effect that everyone behind him in the pecking order has such better matchups. I mean, that's why you pay him all that money.
All All right, Wolf, obviously everybody wants to see 90 and 56 out there. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is the only person who does it. When you look at his numbers going against the blitz and then non-blitzing teams, also a big difference there. So let's pretend TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, they're healthy, they're ready to go. What can they do against Aaron Rodgers to make his life miserable?
Make his life miserable. That's exactly it. You know, the thing, you look at TJ Watt, when TJ Watt is in the game, the pressure rate goes up at least 10% over what it is when he's not in the lineup. The completion percentage drops like 10, 12, 15% when he's not in the game. The passer rating when he's in the game, it drops down to 72. All right. I mean, the statistics of it is enormous when TJ Watt is in the game versus when he's not. Everything goes like crazy, right? So what happens? He gets in the quarterback's head, because right there you're going to have, Aaron Rodgers will be sitting there going, tick-tock, TJ Watt, TJ Watt. I mean, boom, you want to get rid of the ball. That's what it's about, and that's what he brings to it. Also, he takes away a lot of the double teams. You're going to wall right. You want to chip with somebody, and it helps on Cam. Last game, I know it was a mess up, a screw up, but he had actually a triple team. Cam was sitting there, he had the center and two guards on a blown wall right when both Mel Ingram and Jameer Jones crashed into each other and whiffed on Joe Burrow. But I mean, here you are, Cam, you got three guys and you still almost got a sack on the quarterback. So the fact is, you got to have TJ Watt, you got to have Alex Highsmith, because that bookend does so much to create a increased intensity on getting rid of the ball for a guy like Aaron Rodgers.
All right, and the good news coming out of Thursday's practice, TJ Watt was a full participant. Alex Highsmith stayed at limited. As I said, we will focus on the status report that comes out Friday after the Steelers' last practice of the week. Pomp, going to you, we always say rush and coverage go together. A lot of the big plays that we've seen these past few games. What does the Steelers' secondary need to do against Aaron Rodgers when we know how much he loves Davante Adams?
Be tight as you can be. And also, I know they typically don't travel safeties to the best player, but I would in this game. Davante Adams is going to be the guy who's most targeted. We know that going in. Joe Hayden needs to be the guy they do that to. They'll do it occasionally. I think they need to do it more often than not. Nothing against James Pierre, Missi, but, I think he'll be a mismatch in a negative way if he's, on that situation. He's just a young player growing. We saw big plays hurt the Steelers in the 61-yarder to Ruggs in the Las Vegas game, and we saw the 34-yarder to Chase. Just a great throw and a great catch, and, he was behind the play, but still my preference is to go best on best if I can get Hayden on Davante Adams. And then middle of the field, I think Devin Bush has got to be better, too, in coverage, especially for underneath stuff. So if that happens, I think they're going to be in a very competitive game on the road at a very nasty place to play.
All right, week 4, and it is a big matchup, as we have said. We're going to take one more break here on the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. When we return, your final takes on what it will take for a Steelers win on Sunday. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. It is time to play Fill in the Blank. Pomp, we're going to go backwards this time. We're going to start with you. The Steelers win in Lambeau if
they stop with the penalties, if they turn the ball over defensively, if they run the ball the way they're capable of. All those three things have got to happen, and it starts with me. With even if the offensive line is still struggling, the best way to get them to move forward and get better is by committing a little bit more to this run game. So if all three of those things happen, they'll win. I believe it's going to be a very competitive game, though, Missi, regardless.
All right, I'm going completely out of order. Wolf, you've always been in the middle. Matt, you get to go next. Fill in the blank for me.
I'm going to go with Najee Harris gets over 100 yards on the ground. And this Packers defense, they have some star power. They have some very good young football players. But over the past couple of years, and I know they have a new defensive coordinator, they're inconsistent against the run. You've seen teams like the Niners really gash these guys. They can be overly aggressive and get two people in the same gap. If the Steelers can take advantage of that and control the tempo of the game, I really like their chances.
low-hanging fruit. They score more points. I mean, come on. All right, but the fact, I would agree with Matt so much so that if Najee is able to accumulate 100 yards on the ground, and I would further say, you know what, if he's got like 30, 35 touches between running the ball and catching the ball, they have a good opportunity. I like what Max said. Up front, you got a beast. You got Kenny Clark. That guy, you got to make sure that you control him, but you can get after these linebackers. I really believe that you can run the ball on these guys.
All right, guys, it is time now to tell you about Pick and Win presented by Unibet. Each week, participants can answer a variety of trivia and predictive questions to earn points. The person with the most at the end of the week wins a prize. The grand prize at the end of the season, a trip to the Pro Bowl in Las Vegas. This is free and easy to play. Just download the Steelers official mobile app, create yourself a fan profile, and find the Pick and Win banner under the Fan Zone section. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me here today on the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. Steelers and Packers Sunday at Lambeau Field, 425. We'll do it again soon.
What's up, Steeler Nation? It's Terrell Edmonds. Welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers official YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on everything going on in the Steel City. Thanks for being the best fans of football, and here we go.